It is May 30th, 2025, and it is time for another episode of Shit Hit the Fan News. And if you're new here, this is a once-a-month segment where this hillbilly survivalist prepper gets on, shares the news that was kind of concerning to him over the last month, and then we have fun. We talk about it in the comments down below, and we make some jokes, and we just try to have a good time of it. I'm not the guy that's going to do a news broadcast every day, and I'm not the guy that's going to do 3 emergency broadcasts a week, because guess what? There aren't 3 emergencies per week, because if there were, they would have actually coalesced into Shit Hit the Fan by now. You guys get my drift? So let's get right after it, pimps. One of the things we saw in May was more government fraud and waste exposed by Doge. I watched this Jesse Waters segment where he sat in on a Doge meeting. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a fan of Fox News anymore. As a matter of fact, I banned them until watching this segment after they did what they did to Tucker Carlson. But this was too good to not watch. He basically sat in on this meeting and got to question some of these young Doge guys that are finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse. And the stuff that they were talking about, man, it just really highlights how little your government appreciates the labor that you go through every single year to pay their bills. One of the examples that came up in the meeting was that the Department of Education was caught blowing taxpayer cash $4 billion in COVID relief funds, renting out Caesar's Palace and stadiums for lavish parties, and they never even provided the receipts. It's insane. It's insane, right? Like when you hear it, every month I've been talking a little bit about government fraud, waste, and abuse because it's big news right now, man. And it shows you where we're going, right? That's why we should be concerned about it as preppers and survivalists. Is like if this keeps up, we're looking at 2 eventualities. The first one, complete destruction of the US dollar. And we're talking 0 purchasing power, guys. We're not talking a dozen eggs for $8. No, we're talking you're going to work all week for a wheelbarrow of cash and wheel it down to the market for a carton of eggs. We're talking real Weimar Republic level shit. The second option would be defaulting on our loans. And that really means full war. Because we have all these foreign governments and foreign banks that have been willing to float our bill. And like part of me wanted to say just America's waste, but it's not really America's waste, is it? It's our elected officials' waste. It's the people we've put in power. It's the people that go get those federal jobs and they're like, bam, I got it made, man. I got my retirement set up. I can go plan my wedding for 6 months on the taxpayer's dime because they're paying for my freaking wages. And so in a lot of ways, what this waste really shows me is it shows us like how far down the toilet America has gone when it comes to its principles. And probably half of America gets this, right? They want change. And they're the ones that elected Trump. And they wanted Doge to get in there and do its thing. Meanwhile, Republican representatives are fighting tooth and nail to keep the waste spigot full open, man. I really don't know if we can get out of this. I really don't as a country. I really don't. Just seeing everything that's going on. I mean, it's too early to guess right now. But probably about a year ago, my guess was that we were going to have a civil war or a revolutionary war, like pick one, right, guys? We don't know what it's going to be until it's over, but we were going to have one in the next year to 5 years. And I really still see us headed that same direction. Let's talk about these progressive activist judges that are trying to stop Trump from, let's say, sending illegals back to where they came from. Or it's not even really that. The administration is basically like, where do you want us to fly you to? Like, we will fly you anywhere, man. A free plane ticket out of here. Again, this highlights the corruption in our society. there's a president that was elected to do specific things. And what do we mostly get when we elect a new president? They told us they were going to do all this shit before they got into office, and they get in office and they do one thing that they said they're going to do. And they do whatever the hell they want to do with the rest of it, man. They throw the rest of it out, and a lot of times they actually do the opposite of what they promised. Why have we elected people like that for so long? I'm going to pose the question to you guys. I'd love to see your comments down below. Are we too busy with our football and our barbecues? Are we too busy working our ass off to pay for taxes for almost 5 months out of the year so government employees and elected officials can waste our money? Getting back on these judges, though, guys, I watched this interesting video where they were talking about how often this happens where a judge, federal or otherwise, puts the brakes on a president's decisions. And it's happened very, very, very little in the history of the entire country. So it's obvious that, again, Trump is being targeted by progressives. They're abusing their authority, abusing the power granted to them by the American people, the same people that voted for change. And again, this points towards the corruption of our society, the loss of principles, morals, and ethics. It's like mouse utopia, guys. You guys know what that is, man? There's this researcher that did this study where he built like a literal mouse utopia. And he put so many mice in there and let them do their thing, and they'd like hook up and breed and eat all the food that they wanted to eat. And after so many days, the society would collapse. The mice would begin to become homosexuals and that kind of thing, and focus on cleaning themselves more than they would anything else. Like, it depended on which mice we were talking about. The women mice would beat up the men mice, and then the whole thing collapsed and all of the mice died. And he did this multiple times, the same study, and it always collapsed at the same time. I feel like we're living in mouse utopia, man. Like, civilizations only last for so long. Eventually they shit tank. They become so just corrupt and disgusting that they just fall apart, man. It's like the things that hold a society together, they lose that. And I feel that that's where we are. I feel that we are definitely on the downhill slide, and we have been for years now. All the more reasons to prep, right? Let's talk about geomagnetic disruptions and pole shifts, because this has been in the news a little bit more recently. In April's Shit at the Fan news, I talked about the Iberian Peninsula power outage. It looks like that can be attributed to geomagnetic chaos. And what's happening, guys, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the poles, you know, you have true north, which is north on a map, and then you have magnetic north. That's why if you're doing land navigation, you have something called magnetic declination, which is the adjustment you make between magnetic north and true north, so you make sure you're headed in the right direction. Well, you cannot use really old maps because magnetic north changes. The North Pole kind of floats around, and for a number of years now, it's been moving faster and moving further distances. Now, there are researchers that say that there is proof that in Earth's history, the North Pole was not where it is right now. Okay, that it was someplace completely different. And they also think that the North Pole is going to move. And what you really have here is you've got two schools of thoughts on how this is going to affect the planet and affect us. You have the more chill school of thought, and then you have the gloom and doom one. And so what the more chill people think is that the North Pole is going to move, the planet is going to begin to slowly adjust how it spins on its axis, migratory birds are going to be confused, and we will slowly see the change of weather patterns in flora and fauna, but these changes will be very slow. On the flip side, you have the doom and gloom people, and what they talk about is oftentimes is the rate at which the Earth is spinning. Now, I don't want you to quote me on this number because it was a long time ago that I looked at it last, probably years, but I want to say that right now we are all moving like 1,000 miles an hour or something like that, right? Because the Earth is spinning so fast and it's going all the way around. It's this big ass chunk of dirt, right? That's going so fast that you do an entire revolution every 24 hours. So it's going like 1,000 miles an hour. You are, and the Earth's surface. Well, these extremists over here, they say that if the North Pole shifts suddenly, like a massive distance, let's say it ends up on the equator, the Earth will suddenly shift and spin the other direction. And that means that you're going 1,000 miles an hour in one direction, and all of a sudden the surface of the Earth switches and you're still going 1,000 miles an hour in the direction you were going, which effectively means that every living thing on the planet will be splattered instantaneously. Like, if that's the case, man, we won't even know that the poles shifted. I really doubt that's how it's going to go down, guys, because if you think about it, like, what does the Earth weigh? You know, something that's this big and this heavy, I don't believe it can alter its course that rapidly. So the truth is probably somewhere more in the middle. And this is usually what you see when you have people with extreme views, right? You got extremists over here, extremists over here. If you look towards the center, that's where things are normally going to fall. Still, though, it's just another reason to prep. Let's say that it's somewhere in the middle and the poles shift and it takes 20 years for Florida to become the North Pole. Well, there's still going to be some big-ass changes that are going to happen in those 20 years. Think about the chaos it could cause with, like, food supply versus demand. You know what I'm saying, dudes? That will affect a lot of stuff, even like a 2-decade change. Moving on to other things, we got good news here. Oh, I know a lot of the preppers and survivalists don't give out good news, you know, but I'm a realist, guys. I don't want the shit to hit the fan, dudes. I don't, man. I want to get back on the road with my wife in 3 years and go live in off-grid places all over the country and go hunting shit. I don't want civilization to collapse, man. I don't want civil war to kick off. So the good news is that the India-Pakistan tensions are kind of at a chill point right now. They're currently at a ceasefire. I know they like totally disregarded the last ceasefire. It lasted like a couple hours. And we'll see. This is a really good thing for us because we don't want to see full nuke war between any nuclear powers, like large nuclear powers. It's going to affect the rest of the planet no matter what. If you believe Carl Sagan and believe, again, some of the extreme models about what would happen if India and Pakistan got in a full nuke war, then it would wipe us all out. Okay, we'd see nuclear winter, all the plants would die, all the animals would die, we'd all die, unless you have years and years worth of food saved up and water, okay? So I don't know, man, if that's your perspective, if you think that it could be an extreme outcome, nuke war between countries like that, you might need to be prepping for like 10 years of food and water and a shelter that's going to be able to get you through very, very serious shit. Not to mention all the cleanup tools you're going to need and all the just, it's a whole nother thing to prep for Carl Sagan's version of nuclear winter. We're going to hit on Mark Carney again and the globalist agenda. He's basically an ex-Bank of England chief that the Canadians elected recently. And, you know, I expected him to take a pretty hardliner approach, and he didn't. So I guess more good news, right? He went to the White House and basically was kissing Trump's ass, like, up and down, man. I mean, like, not even on the cheek, like getting in the freaking crack. I don't think it's a good thing that Mark Carney was elected. I don't think it's a good thing for the Canadian people, but I do value the relationship that we have down here with our northern neighbors up there. So hopefully Mark Carney is going to just stay the course, keep working with Trump, and make things better for both of us. Real quick, guys, I'm just going to hit the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing on a couple of levels here. The first one is that apparently there are thousands and thousands of hours of depraved footage of both him being involved with minors and other people being involved with minors. Again, just pointing to how sick our society is, especially when you have people in extremely prominent positions, like a member of the royal family of England being involved with this guy. It's kind of interesting. If you guys listen to Bill Gates' ex-wife, she met Jeffrey Epstein and said that he royally creeped her out, man. And I believe that. You know, I've kind of mentioned in the past videos that I'm like kind of like a hippie with guns. And I have felt the vibe of places before. I have felt it. You don't have to believe me. You can just tell me I'm a stupid hippie if you want. But I have been places, and for no reason that I can explain, have felt incredible evil. And left and then found out later that it was a place where tons of unsolved murders had happened, and that satanic rituals had happened, and all kinds of just really sick stuff. Okay, and so I believe it when she says that, man. It's believable for me. And I think some people have a good third eye and other people don't. I think that women in general have a much better third eye than guys do. But yeah, take that for what it's worth, guys. Then we had Kash Patel and Dan Bongino the other day saying that Epstein definitely hung himself. You know, how do I feel about it? I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, you would have to be extremely dedicated to hang yourself from the top bunk of a bunk bed with bed sheets. I mean, think of the willpower that you would have to possess when your feet can touch the ground and your ass can touch the bed, like, you know, the lower bed. I mean, I'm pretty damn strong, man, but I don't think I could actually hang myself. Maybe I could. Maybe if you got to the point where you passed out, you know, and you're still hanging there for a while, like, you know, that would do the trick. But I don't know, guys. It's hard to buy. At the same time, we haven't looked at the files, and we're just going to have to see where it goes. Last but certainly not least, guys, I want to talk about the recent open carry incident that happened in Nevada. This happened 5 days ago on the 25th. There was a guy open carrying in an auto zone, and some sketchy dude in there came up, got his hands on his gun, and ended up shooting the guy that was carrying. Now, this is something that happens extremely rarely. It probably happens just as often, if not more, that people concealed carrying have their firearm taken from them and get shot with it. Probably because there's more people that concealed carry than people that open carry. Now, I wanted to address this because I am a proponent of open carry. I'm carrying right now on the ranch. I'm always carrying on the ranch, pretty much. I open carry because it's accessible, and I'm not going to have people standing behind me in line in an auto zone here. But I do open carry to town, and I do it for certain reasons. And probably the largest of those is that I feel, as someone that believes in the right to arm yourself, that reminding people on the left that I possess this right and that I'm going to use it is good for this country. It's good for the local area in which I live, but I think it's good for the country at large. And, you know, I've had people react negatively to me carrying a gun, but too bad for them. It's like, I really feel like they need to be reminded. I think that more people should open carry, not less, especially as a result of this incident. There are some things that we should go over really quick because it is a survival prepping channel, and this news just highlights it. The first thing is that if you're going to open carry a firearm, it should be at least level 2 retention. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is. Level 1 is basically, it's just friction fitted. This is actually a level 2 retention holster I'm wearing right now. I have to press a button to retrieve my handgun. And so level 2 retention is like, it's got a strap on it you have to move. You have to manually move something or manually press a button to get that firearm out. The third thing is that you should make sure that you are trained on how to retain that firearm if somebody does try to grab it, whether or not it's in your holster or not in your holster. Lastly, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. I did mention training, right? That should have been number 1, but sometimes this guy has brain farts, man. I think I'm just getting older. My brain's like, I forget what I said like 5 minutes ago sometimes. So if I repeat myself in some videos, you know why. And that's it, guys. Stay safe out there, guys. There's a lot of reasons to continue prepping, to continue training. And this country is either going to be completely out of the woods in 6 years, or we're going to be in a really, really bad place by then. So, you know, work on your skills now, man. You really want to find yourself in a situation where you have what you need in your place, wherever, in your spot you intend to ride out hard times, whether or not that's your home, whether or not it's a bug out spot, but you need to have everything to take care of your family for extended periods of time. I recommend 2 years of food, water, everything else you're going to need. That's my recommendation. But if you can't do that or you're not willing to commit to it, you're effectively a survivalist. And what that means is you need to make sure that you have the knowledge in your brain to survive hard times and to provide for yourself. Okay? So you need to get out there, guys, and snare rabbits. You need to get out there and find tinder that's going to get a fire going without making it yourself, okay? Or you can make it of natural materials, but you got to go get it done. You know what I'm saying, dudes? Having books on the shelf isn't going to bail you out. That's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it right there. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Check out my Patreon link down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.